Greetings. I am your host, Glen Alex, and you are watching The Glen Alex Show live on the Bold Brave TV network. Each episode of The Glen Alex Show focuses on a different aspect of health because I believe in total health and the whole person. And I am on a mission to help you be joyful, connected, confident, and complete. The life experience we call wealth, WELLTH, which is health plus other riches. And I am looking forward to this episode because we're going to learn about essential oils for health. Please help me welcome my guest, Meredith Irwin, certified aromatherapist and owner of spOILSwellness. Welcome, Meredith.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing well. How are you?
Fantastic.
Excellent. Thank you so much for making time to be here and what you're about to share with us.
My pleasure.
Will you take a minute and introduce yourself? Just tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is Meredith Irwin. I own Spoils Wellness. I have been in aromatherapy for the past 12 years. And basically, what I do is I help people find wellness through plant therapy.
Okay, that's succinct. What drew you to essential oils?
So, my family, I'm a mother of three, and my oldest is 12. I have a daughter who's 9, and I have a son who's 7. When my 12-year-old was 2, he had several respiratory issues, and we just couldn't find the right solution in the traditional medicines and through the pediatrician. And I was getting frustrated and found that through a little bit of experimenting and research, I could find some things that were alleviating his issues using essential oils. And that was the spark that drew me in because I was so surprised at how quickly and efficiently those oils helped him when for weeks and weeks we were having struggles with prescriptions. So that was the initial spark that drew me in. And then I was just fascinated at all of the different ways plants could help us and how quickly they worked. There were no side effects. In fact, I started using the term side benefits because we were actually getting benefit from them rather than having to deal with overcoming a side effect. So
Oh,
that's how I got
excellent.
started.
Okay, wow, that's a powerful incentive.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope your son continues to do well as with the rest of your family.
Oh, it's amazing. He's 12 now, and we don't even use a rescue inhaler, even though his medical chart says he has asthma. We don't have issues, so we're very happy with the progress we've seen using plant therapies with our family and our kids. And I've used them for everything from allergies to sleep, skin irritations, bug bites. My family we really benefit from all of the little things that we can find in our medicine cabinet, which we can just supplement with essential oils.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, that kind of just like brings me to um, how to properly use essential oils and what was the most effective way you found using essential oils that benefited your family, particularly your son.
So we have 3 ways in which we can use oils. We can use them through diffusion, where we put them in a device called a diffuser. And I'm just going to put a little warning there. Please don't put essential oils in your humidifier. Not a good idea. Diffusers are very different than humidifiers. So use diffusers because those are actually created for the use with essential oils. So that's the most powerful way in which you can get the benefit of aromatherapy because you're actually breathing in the oils. They're going right into your bloodstream, right from your olfactory bulb, right inside your nose. You're breathing in those molecules and you're getting instant therapy. The second way is wish to apply on the skin. And you can use rollers. You can just put the drops of oil right on your skin. You can mix them with carrier oils. The most popular place to put oils is on the soles of your feet because that is where the oils will have the most absorption because your pores are very large on your feet. So you actually absorb the oils very quickly. And finally, if the oil is safe enough for internal use, you can drop under the tongue or take it inside a veggie capsule, but you have to read your labels to make sure that oil is an intentional oil for internal use. So those are the 3 major ways in which you can use oils. And I always say the laziest, easiest way is to diffuse.
Okay. And plus, it smells so good.
Exactly. And your house smells lovely. You're not bringing in any toxic chemicals or fragrances into your home that are very disruptive to your endocrine system. And you're actually oils are known to clean the air, so you're actually disinfecting and cleaning some toxins out of your air.
Okay, good to know. Now, when you use a diffuser, though, is there like a range of effectiveness? I mean, if I have it in one room, do I need to be near that room or in the room?
Diffusers have different tanks that hold specific amounts of water. And they
Okay.
also have what's called a coverage output. So every diffuser will have on its labeling how much square footage it covers and how long it will run. When a diffuser runs out of water, it shuts itself off. So you never have to worry about it running without the water inside. It has an automatic shut off inside. So when the water runs out, it shuts off. Your price point for diffusers is usually between $40 and $60, and they should cover about 1,000 square feet and run for about 12 hours. That's kind of the industry standard.
1,000 square feet?
Mm-hmm. Whole
Wow,
house.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds awesome. Now, and when you mentioned ingestible oils and reading the label, what specifically should the label say so we will know that we can ingest it or not?
The easiest thing to look for is an actual supplement label. Just like when you look on the back of food or supplements, vitamins, you see that supplement label on there that tells you a dosage. It will say take one every 4 hours, or it will say on a nutritional label, it will show you the ingredients. It will tell you the vitamins and minerals that are inside. On an essential oil bottle, there will be a supplement label on there, and it will say for internal use 4 to 6 drops in a
Okay.
veggie cup. So it should actually be labeled for
Okay.
internal use, and you can see it right away when you turn the bottle and see the supplement label.
Okay. Excellent. Wow. Off to a great start here. Thank you. Now, since we're talking about labels
Mm-hmm.
and selecting, the different types of essential oils, how do we know when we're getting a quality oil? Because I see some that are just so cheap, and I'm
Yes.
like, that can't be good. And then there are some that are super expensive. I'm like, that can't be good either. So how do we know when we're getting a quality product?
So there's I have like a I call it the 10 commandments of oils, and when you're shopping and reading labels, but there's I can kind of even condense that even further. Uh, Big warning sign on a label is if it tells you it's for aromatic use only, or not to ingest it. They've actually put on the bottle a lot of warnings about the oil. If it's a plant therapy, there should be no warnings. It's
Okay.
natural. It's Mother Nature. Why are we putting a warning label on Mother Nature?
Okay.
So when that's kind of a contradiction in terms. 100% pure essential oil. Don't do this with it. So reading that label where they're saying these are all the things you shouldn't do with it, that's a warning to me that the oil's been probably adulterated and they've got some extras in the bottle that are not really good for people to be in contact with. Another thing you can look for is the price point, like you said. If it's so cheap, like if you see 5 different kinds of plants, you've got frankincense, lavender, lemon, peppermint, and they're all the same price. That makes no sense either, because lemon is a very easy plant to grow.
Okay.
Frankincense is not. So we want to look at
Mm,
how that plant's being sourced. I can get hundreds and hundreds of lemons and yield a bottle very inexpensively, whereas frankincense resin tears are a lot harder to come by. So think of how that plant's being grown. And if they're all the same price, that's a flag, because plants are going to be grown differently. How we get them out of the ground, how we distill them, the process to extract the oil from each plant is going to be very different. So when I see that same price point across the board, that raises a flag for me. So prices should vary, but they should be reflective of the plant. Certain plants are going to be more expensive than others just because it's very difficult to grow them organically. And if it's a pure oil, it takes 80 pounds of plant to fill one bottle. So it's a lot. So if
That's a
you're
big
looking at,
farm.
like, for example, rose, 80 pounds of rose petals is going to be expensive.
Right.
So
Okay.
that should be, if you're seeing it for $12.99, I would say that's a little flag right there, because you're not going to be able to get that much rose in a bottle that's pure without having some extras in there to
Okay.
kind of, and usually they like to add alcohols to the bottle. So it'll
Okay.
still smell perfumey. It'll have that fragrancy smell. It won't smell natural. And when somebody's like, well, how do I know it smells natural? Go stand outside. When you breathe in Mother Nature, it smells like outside. It smells like plants and grasses. And like if you're taking a walk in the park and you smell all the different plants and trees and grasses and flowers, that's natural. If you're smelling fragrance like you're walking through the perfume department of Macy's, then you've got a
Right.
problem, because that's
And
not pure oil.
okay, so are you also saying that smelling alcohol is not good either in an
It's
essential
probably
oil
not a good
bottle?
idea. No, no.
Okay, so those were two of your commandments, the
Hmm.
price point and the warning labels.
Like how
Okay.
how the oils are priced and how they are labeled. You want to look for a company that's testing their product, because you want to make sure that they're going through quality standards, and that they are in. Because if these are therapeutic grade oils, then they need to be tested with a system in place. And there is an essential oil testing system out there called GCMS testing, which is an
Okay.
industry standard in oil. So every oil out there should be at least tested with that particular testing to make sure that the bottle has pure oil in it.
Okay. Okay. Well, do you want to just name the next seven commandments and we can take a deeper look in the next segment?
Sure, absolutely. Okay. Oh,
Okay,
so you
go.
want me? Okay, I got you. I
Yeah.
got you. So I like to call it a skin test. So we want to look at how it sits on your skin. If your skin just absorbs it like a sponge, like, oh, this is I could drink this, it's wonderful, then you're looking at pure oil. If it just kind of sits there and your body's rejecting it, it's like, I don't really want this. No, thank you. Um,
Okay.
that's a good indicator. You want to look at how the bottle is presented. There is an industry standard with bottles. They should be dark in color, because light and oils don't jive. So you want to make sure that you're in a nice dark bottle. You want to make sure that it has a sealed cap. You don't want droppers. There should be no dropper on the bottle. That should be
Okay.
something you add later. Pure essential oil should have a sealed cap that just looks just like a black screw top. There should be no special droppers or anything on the bottle, just a screw cap. You don't
Okay.
want any weird sizes. The industry standard is usually 5 ml, 10 ml, 15 ml. Any other size outside of that is outside of an industry standard. So it's probably not a pure oil. It's being marketed from someone that doesn't know much about oils, and they're using a weird bottle size.
Okay.
Um, Bottles should always be upright. They should never be laying on their side. They should always be sitting upright. Wherever they're being sold, they should be displayed in an upright position.
Okay.
Um, I'm trying to think of other things that I've warned people against. You want to make sure that your oils have some sort of labeling on them as far as what it is, and if it has the actual Latin name of the plant on the bottle, you're probably looking at a higher quality oil. It shouldn't just say lavender.
Interesting.
It should say Lavandula augustifolia on the bottle, because you
Easy
want
for you to say.
to. Well, hey, that took 12 years of practice. So,
Okay. That's an interesting note, though. I never considered that the language mattered.
oh yes. Well, think
Okay.
about it. It's going to cost you more money to print that on the label.
Okay.
So
Right.
the company that's legitimate and ethical and involved, they're going to print the name of the plant and the plant species on the bottle, because there are different kinds of lavender, there are different kinds of peppermint, there's different kinds of
Mm,
frankincense. So you need to know not just frankincense, but what varietal, what plant did this come from? Was it
okay.
Boswellia serrata? I mean, there's different ones. So you want to look for that on the bottle.
Okay. Awesome stuff. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, so we are going to step away and take a quick break. When we return, Meredith and I will get more into essential oils for your health. So stay tuned, and we will be right back with the Glen Alex Show live on the Bold Brave TV network. We are back. This is the Glen Alex Show, and I am your host, Glen Alex, live on the Bold Brave TV network. I'm here talking essential oils with Meredith Irwin, certified aromatherapist and owner of spOILSwellness. And Meredith just laid out some really interesting information about essential oils in segment one. We ended with her 10 commandments of essential oils. So, Meredith, I'm going to ask you to recap the 10 before we move on to another topic.
Sure. Okay, so one, the label should list the name of the plant and its common Latin name. Two, the bottle should be labeled aromatic, topical, internal. It should have guidelines for usage on the bottle. Industry standard is A for aromatic use, T for topical, and I for ingested. So if you see an A, T, or I on the label, they're telling you usage. You should see that it's therapeutic grade listed on the bottle. It should say on there that it is intended for therapeutic use, not just for aromatic use, because usually if it's just aromatic use, that's perfume. The bottle should be dark in color. It should be in glass. Plastic's a big no-no because oils eat plastic, so we want the bottle to be glass. You don't want them priced the same. Should be price point reflective of the plant itself. Rose should be more expensive than lemon. You want an industry sizing of 5, 10, or 15 ml bottles. You want your bottles to be those sizes. Any other sizes are not industry standard. There should be an expiration date on the bottle. It should tell you how long this oil is good for. You should recognize the company name. You should be, and if you don't recognize it, can you research it? Can you pull them up on your phone and say, who are these oils? Do they come up, or do you have to go through 5 pages of Google search before you find this company? They should be easy to find, easy to research, and their information about their oils should be available to you. And one of my favorite ways to test is to smell it. Does it smell clean and crisp and balanced? Does it have a residue on your skin, or does it absorb easily? If you smell it and it's strong and it already gives you a headache, that's a no-no. And finally, how much do you have to use to achieve your result? If you have to really dump the bottle to get some results from it, that's an adulterated synthetic product. You should only have to use 1 to 2 drops of oil to get where you need to go with your oils.
Okay. Well, I hope everybody had their pens and papers down, to write all of that down. That's some really good information that I had never heard before. I've been, I dabbled in essential oils for a while, but I've become more serious about my own personal use in the last 5 years. And I hadn't heard any of these things. So thank you for sharing them.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, I read in your bio that you've given talks or classes on essential oils and the Bible.
Yes.
Tell us what is that about?
So, in a lot of local churches and Bible study groups and just devotional groups that I've come across, I've asked to come in and speak about the oils of the Bible. If you look up the mention of oils in the Bible, there are over 450 references to essential oils in the Bible. Sometimes they are by specific name. Sometimes they are just referred to as an oil. In fact, Psalms is a scripture. There are oils in the house of the wise. That's Proverbs. So there is actual scripture about using oils. The two that are the most commonly discussed are the gifts that were given at the birth of the baby Jesus, the frankincense and the myrrh. Okay. So when I went to Sunday school when I was little, frankincense and myrrh were the perfumes that were given to him. That's the way we were taught. Those were actually the medicines that he was given. Frankincense is the king of oils. It is the most powerful oil you can use in your body. I like to call it the Xerox copier for healthy cells. So if you're going to give the baby Jesus an amazing gift, it's going to be frankincense.
Okay.
Myrrh. Myrrh is incredibly antiviral, antimicrobial, antibacterial. It has massive germ fighting properties. So that's a good oil to give a little baby to keep them safe and healthy. It also
Okay.
reduces scarring. So myrrh is also a precious gift to give. So those are mentions of very powerful oils that would be a very precious gift to give someone. You hear a lot of
Okay.
mention of spikenard, and that is the oil that Mary used to wash Jesus's feet. That is the oil that was used. So spikenard is an oil that you hear a lot of reference to. You'll hear
Okay. Let me let
references.
me let me interrupt you
Yeah,
before
yeah.
I forget my question.
Okay.
What what I if frankincense is the most powerful essential oil, what specifically does it do?
Oh, so many things. I mean, I
Okay.
could do a whole show just on frankincense.
But just give me the top three.
Okay, so frankincense is one of the few oils that actually works on the mitochondrial level of your cells. So
Okay.
it seeks out healthy cells in your body and helps you duplicate them. And why do we want healthy cells? Because those healthy cells seek out the toxicity in the body, the toxic cells, the deficient cells. So you want to proliferate your healthy cells in your body so that you can be constantly rejuvenating your system with health. When people have immune disorders or problems with fighting those toxins in their body, frankincense is very powerful at helping you achieve those results you're looking for to bring back healthy cells into the system.
Okay.
Frankincense is also a tree. Trees have roots, they go down into the ground. So when we think about an oil that grounds you, frankincense is an oil that's very grounding. It helps with anxiety. It helps you calm down. It roots you down to the ground. Anytime you deal with a tree oil with roots that go deep, think of that oil anchoring you, holding you when you have anxiety, when you have stress, when you feel overwhelmed. Tree oils are very powerful, and frankincense is a very powerful tree oil to help you with stress and anxiety.
Okay.
There's also been a lot of research in the cancer community about frankincense. And you can go onto PubMed and pull up lots of documentation about how frankincense has been shown to reduce tumors and how it can cross blood brain barriers where you can't get to these tumors because of where they are located in the body. And
Mm.
frankincense is getting there. So it is a
Okay.
very powerful oil.
Okay, fantastic. Wow. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, PubMed.gov is a government regulated site for scientific studies, the results, the journals, the articles, and so it's pretty legitimate. So that's great that these studies are on PubMed.gov.
Absolutely. So, and I tell people if they're skeptical and they're not sure, there it's right there in front of you. It's accessible with a few clicks with your phone or your computer. You can find it and you'll see the research that's out there. And because oils are now really starting to take foot in the scientific research end of medical care, you're going to see more and more research out there regarding oils.
Okay, all right. Okay, so let's go back.
Okay.
Frankincense and myrrh are the two most commonly mentioned essential
Mm-hmm.
oils in the Bible. And then
Mm-hmm.
the third one, I lost it because it was some long word.
Spikenard. So spikenard is mentioned, and it's considered also a grounding oil. It's a meditative oil. You'll also hear of very rare oils like common myrtle or hyssop. You'll hear of galbanum. These are ancient plants. You're not going to find them on the shelves of Whole Foods. They're
Okay.
very rare. Very therapeutic oils. They have a lot of relaxative properties for the system. They're very soothing. A lot of these oils were used in prayer
Mm.
and to kind of draw your focus to God. They were used in reflective, and then also for sickness. So using these oils in your home kept the air clean and prevented germs from spreading around.
Okay. Okay. So what does it mean for you for essential oils to be in such a sacred book, to be used for thousands of years?
I think that's what God intended for us. This was supposed to
Okay.
be our medicine. I think he created this creation, and he gave us all of the tools we needed to survive. And I think the plants that we have on this planet were intended to be our medicine. I believe that that's where we were supposed to go with this. And we're all a part of the same dome here. We're all on this same planet together. So if you think about it, biochemistry wise, the plants and us have a synergistic relationship. So they should help us.
Okay. Okay. Now, are the plants that are used for essential oils grown differently than just roses for a general florist?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So when you grow plants for oil, for the intention of distilling them to create an aromatherapy oil, the ground has to be say like no irradiated soil. We can't have pesticides being sprayed on the plants. They have to be
Okay.
grown beyond organic standards. They have to be picked at the right time. There are certain plants that you have to pick them at the right time for the oil sacs to be ready to open when you distill them. You
Okay.
need to have farmers and growers who know this is a generational farming situation where these traditions and understanding have been passed down. So want to work with people who know their their plant and they know how to cultivate it. You don't want to get into these situations where they're growing these plants out of their indigenous environment. Think about it. Where Mother Nature put it is going to be the most beneficial place to take it from because the climate, the area, this is where the plant was intended to grow and thrive. When we
Okay.
try to greenhouse grow these plants, we're we're losing a component of that plant's therapy that's very intentional for us. We need to
Okay.
use the plant where Mother Nature intended and put it.
Okay. So then that brings up the question about shipping,
Mhm.
transporting essential oils. Is there like a recommended distance limit?
Unfortunately, in this market, we deal with brokers.
Mm.
And when you deal with a broker or a middleman, the goal for the broker is to get the product from the farmer or the source for the cheapest price possible and then sell it for the most amount of money to who he's brokering it to.
Okay.
So there is a lot of unethical things that go on in the world of essential oils because the broker can buy the oil at a discount because he's going to try to get that yield as cheap as he can, and then he's going to adulterate it. He's going to add synthetics to the bottle
Okay.
so that the yield um, his barrels can now be sold to more people.
Right.
And
Okay.
when Walmart or Bed Bath and Beyond or even Whole Foods buy the label of those oils, they don't know what's been done to it. They're just buying from the broker and then they're putting their label on the bottle. So
Okay.
there is a lot of dishonesty that goes on. And I have found that that's where the due diligence comes in for doing your research on the company because we want to make sure that these people who are growing these precious plants are being treated fairly and that they are able to continue to produce the plants and be successful. So I
Okay.
really do advocate for buying from trusted ethical companies who treat their growers appropriately and that they're not just dealing with brokers and they know where their plants are coming from.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for that.
You're
Well,
welcome.
it's time to take another short break. I'm Glen Alex, and you're watching The Glen Alex Show live on the Bold Brave TV network. When we return, Meredith and I will have more on essential oils for your health, and we will answer some viewers' questions. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm your host, Glen Alex, and this is The Glen Alex Show live on the Bold Brave TV network. Here with Meredith Irwin, certified aromatherapist and owner of spOILSwellness, talking about essential oils for health. Um, Meredith just laid the law down on how the 10 commandments of essential oils, on how to find the best quality, and how essential oils were used and mentioned in the Bible. So now we are going to take your calls. So please call in 866 451 1451. If you have a lingering question about essential oils, please call in 866 451 1451. If you're too shy to speak on the telephone or on live TV, you can comment live on YouTube TV and we'll see it during the broadcast. Okay, so I have questions, Meredith, from individuals who could not watch live. So let's start with what may be a simple one. Uh, this one comes from Sandy, and her question was about uh, rosemary. Is
Okay.
rosemary good for hair growth?
Rosemary is actually very good for concentration.
Oh,
And
okay.
I prefer cedar wood for hair growth. That is
Okay.
my go-to oil for hair growth and for uh, scalp health and for hair follicle rejuvenation. I recommend cedar wood for patients who've undergone chemo and are growing their hair back. So I've not really gone with rosemary for hair growth. I've used it
Okay.
for other things, but my oil that I prefer for hair growth is cedarwood.
Okay. And what's your recommended form of use?
It's so simple. Add it to your shampoo, add it to your conditioner. Just open up what you already use, put a couple drops right inside the bottle that you're already using.
Okay.
Just and when you're washing your hair, add it to your styling products. What you're already using, just add your cedar wood to it. If you don't use a lot of things and you just want the straight up cedar wood, you can get some coconut oil, like the fractionated kind that isn't look like the shortening in the jar, but is already liquefied.
Okay.
Get a couple drops of fractionated coconut oil and a couple drops of the cedar wood, and just rub your hands together and massage your scalp. You can do that too. Um, but I'm always for the laziest way out, which is just add it to what you already use.
Okay. And what about tea tree oil for hair growth?
So tea tree is actually what a lot of people like to use when they have dandruff or they have any kind of itchy scalp or they have flakiness in the scalp.
Okay.
Tea tree, also known as melaleuca, is very good for just detoxifying the scalp. So I wouldn't really turn to it for hair growth just because of what it's supposed to be doing for your scalp. Now, obviously, if you have some sort of issue with your scalp and you have an infection or a skin issue up there, then tea tree might help clear that up, which would be like a supplementary benefit to hair growth. So,
Okay.
once again, I don't really turn to tea tree for that either. I like my cedar wood.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, this a concern was raised about using essential oils around pets, cats in particular. Can you
Okay.
speak to that?
Yes. So I'm sure, as we all know, when we go on social media, we see all these things that kind of pop up on our feed. All of a sudden, we're talking about socks, and then socks show up on our Facebook feed.
Yes.
Um, so when it comes to pets and oils, there is a danger and there isn't a danger. So let's talk about where the danger is. The oils that are unsafe for humans are also unsafe for pets. So when you're buying a lesser quality oil for yourself, it's just as toxic to them as it is to you.
Okay.
So in
Makes
that
sense.
sense, subpar oils, cheap oils, those adulterated oils are going to be just as dangerous to your pet as they are to you. So
Okay.
you those shouldn't I tell them if you shouldn't be using them on yourself, not just your dog. You shouldn't be using them. When it comes to cats and dogs, they have a higher sense of smell than we do. Their olfactory senses are much more sensitive. So diffusion is fine. Just leave the door open. let them be able to pass in and out of a room. So if a scent is too strong for them, let them be able to leave. It's not
Okay.
hurting them, it's just strong for them. So giving them the opportunity to move freely about when there's diffusion going on is a great idea. You're not poisoning them. You're not going to give them seizures. You're not going to hurt them in any way. You just want to give them the opportunity to not be, if the scent is too strong, to be able to leave.
Okay.
That
Okay.
being said, there are oils they don't like. So now this doesn't mean they're unsafe for them. They just don't like them. Cats don't like mint at all. They don't like
Okay.
mint. They don't like cinnamon. They don't like tea tree. And I've heard the rumors about the tea tree oil and the cats, and they don't have this enzyme in their liver to break it down. That's all myth. There's nothing to that. That being said, if you are buying an oil that has chemicals in it beside the oil, like I said, it's not just unsafe for your pet, it's unsafe for you too.
Okay.
So with cats, they don't like mint. So I like to tell people, if you have a cat marking somewhere and you don't want them to go there anymore, a little bit of peppermint oil sprayed in that area, they're not going to pee there ever again because they don't like it. So
Okay.
you're not going to hurt them. It's just not their favorite smell.
Okay.
So you can't hurt. And dogs, I actually use oils on my dogs. I have 2 dogs and I use them on my dogs. So totally safe.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that.
Sure.
Now we have a question from Raymond, and Raymond wants to know if essential oils are approved by the FDA, like vitamins. Some vitamins are.
So as you might know, the FDA does not regulate the supplement industry. They just do not. And so there is very few FDA regulation out there when it comes to the essential oil industry, because they recognize oils as supplemental. So they don't
Okay.
regulate that industry. Now, that being said, I am grateful and terrified at the same time for that reasoning, because I'm grateful for the companies out there that are ethical and doing it right. They have the ability to bring their oils to market and make that accessible to all of us. But that also opens up the door to all of the others who aren't so honest and unethical, and they're putting their product up there on the shelf right next to the ones who are legitimate.
Okay.
There is FDA approval right now of a lavender oil by doTERRA that has been FDA approved, and that is the very first oil in history to ever be approved by the FDA. So there's a lavender that has undergone FDA regulation, and it is on the market. So it's
Okay.
coming. But it's up to the companies to decide if they want to pursue that.
Okay. So, do you think though that the FDA is moving in the direction of regulating supplements?
I think that it's that I find that the FDA doesn't like you to make claims. They don't want
Okay.
you to claim health benefits. They don't want you to make claims that you're curing anything or treating any disease. So when you look at supplement bottles, you'll see they don't talk about handling your diabetes. They talk about handling your sugar. Okay.
Okay.
So the labeling is very vague within the supplement market because the FDA does not like you to make medical claims on supplement products. So I think when companies overstep their bounds, the FDA shows up and says, you're making claims that we don't like.
Okay.
Um, so I don't really necessarily feel, like I said, it's a love-hate relationship. I think that there are aspects of the FDA that are keeping people honest and ethical, but there's also a whole other end of it where there are things out there that are truly helpful that aren't able to be labeled as such because of their regulations.
Okay. Okay. All right. So hopefully we'll have time. One more question, and hopefully we'll have time in this segment to so you can give a full answer.
Okay.
This goes back to how specifically, scientifically, how essential oils benefit the
Okay.
human body. When you inhale it, for example, what does it do on the inside?
Okay. So when we talk about aromatherapy, you've got this little bulb back here. It's about the size of your pinky nail, and it's like sticky
Okay.
tape. And that's your
Okay.
olfactory bulb. When you breathe in oils, those molecules are grabbed by the sticky tape and they are dispersed into the bloodstream, right into your bloodstream. So when people says, "Oh, that smells so good," yes, but it's also going into your bloodstream. So aromatherapy is a very legitimate way in which to receive plant therapy into the body. So when you breathe in an essential oil, you are breathing in all of the chemical constituents of that plant. And plants are made up of all kinds of fancy words like monoterpenes and sesquiterpenes and esters. We could get all sciencey when it comes to how a plant is put together. But when you look at that from a scientific level and you breathe that in, you are breathing in that therapy and it is going into your bloodstream, which is an interesting thing, because when you breathe in a candle or you breathe in perfume, you're also breathing that into your bloodstream. So just as much as you're breathing in something healthy, you can also be breathing in something very unhealthy.
Okay, that's a very interesting point to be aware of too when we're walking through,
Yes.
these department stores and we're smelling all these things, or even in a hardware store where we're smelling all of these very strong chemicals.
Yes.
So, okay, that's a very good point. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so those are a lot of questions.
Oh, really?
Yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and take our last break.
Okay.
And when Meredith and I will come back, we will wrap up essential oils. Meredith will give you her one takeaway that she wants you to have. So please stay tuned, and we will be right back with the Glen Alex Show live on the Bold Brave TV network. Welcome back. I'm your host, Glen Alex, and this is the Glen Alex Show live on the Bold Brave TV network. Here with Meredith Irwin, owner of spOILSwellness and certified aromatherapist, just having a fascinating conversation about essential oils and how beneficial they are to health. Now, in the previous segment, we addressed this, well, Meredith did. I just asked the questions, questions from viewers who couldn't join live. And I do have another quick question, though.
Okay.
Are blends more beneficial than single oils?
It depends on the person.
Okay.
Blends are going to have a synergistic effect because you're amplifying all of those single plants together, kind of building off of each other. So you're getting this synergistic effect. So it is definitely been researched and brought to light that when you blend plants together, you can get some pretty powerful results, especially when it comes to airborne pathogens and when we're talking about antibacterial and antiviral qualities. So blending plants together definitely is more beneficial when we're looking for results when it comes to supporting our immune system.
Okay.
But there are also some individual plants out there that just, no matter what you blend them with, they are just as powerful as can be by themselves than when they're blended with other plants. For example, frankincense. That's going to be an oil that can stand alone or do marvelous things blended. So do I like blends? Yes, absolutely. And especially when it comes to immune health, I advocate for blends. But you can also you can reap benefits as well from single oils. So my answer is both.
Okay. That's clear as mud. So I'm going to order frankincense as soon as we're done. So thank you.
Okay.
All right. So Meredith, what is the one takeaway that you want viewers to have about essential oils?
So one of the big things I hear when I'm working with people, I tried oils, they didn't work. I tried this, it didn't work. We all have different body systems. We all have different chemistries. I promise you that there is a plant out there that will help you. Just because this one plant didn't work for you doesn't mean that there isn't another plant out there that will. If we all responded to lavender the same way, it would be either an extinct plant or incredibly expensive because we'd all want it. Right. But we don't all respond to lavender the same way. We don't respond to peppermint the same way. So we need to work on finding what works for you. And I promise you there is something. And how you know it's working? Oils are fast. So if you're not seeing a result within 12 to 16 hours of use, it's time to switch plants. And
Wow.
it's not like medicines that we take from the pharmacy where we have to wait until we finish the bottle to see if we have effect. Oils are quick. They're adaptogenic in our body and they move fast. So you can find the right plant therapy for you. Don't give up. I promise you. Oils do work. You just have to find the right one for you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Now, if someone has a question for you, wants a consultation, how can they reach you?
The easiest way is obviously using my business name. That is my email. So spOILSwellness@gmail.com is a direct email to me. And
Okay.
that is where I can quickly answer right away any questions you might have. I'm always willing to jump on Zoom and do a consult right there on Zoom. I can also meet you face to face. I'm always willing to have a conversation when it comes to oils and health, and we can come up with a protocol that's appropriate for you. So spOILSwellness@gmail is the fastest way.
Okay, fantastic. Meredith, thank you so much for your time, for the information, just for your light as well. I really
I
appreciate you
really
being
love
here.
being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us again today on the Glen Alex Show. I hope you learned a lot about essential oils from Meredith. I hope you look into using essential oils to elevate your health and follow her 10 commandments for finding the quality product. And if you want to learn more about your health, please visit glenalex.com. Check out my book, Living in Total Health, and join us here on the Glen Alex Show next week on the Bold Brave TV network. And until next time, be well.
Joyful, connected, confident, complete.